Hi, Norm. How are you? I'm making you the presenter, buddy. Looking forward to hearing your voice and seeing your presentation of what you see happening for turning points.
Oh, my
this month.
screen. Okay. Can you hear me, Dale?
I can, Norm. It's great to hear you. And I see the Skype screen now. Okay.
Alrighty. Very good.
All right.
Well, yep.
Okay, so Norm, before we start with the presentation, I have to ask you, you know, when I was watching the news and I forgot if it was Irma or Maria, Naples was going to be ground zero for the eye wall to hit. And I'm going, oh my God, I hope Norm's okay. Tell us what it was like to live through that type of meteorological event, because I know you're from Chicago and there's never been a hurricane off Lake Michigan. So
Nope. Well, actually,
what was it?
I'm originally from Indiana, but
Oh yeah, that's right.
I grew up across the street from a creek. We didn't have any hurricanes there.
So, you know, I did read that your house was okay and you evacuated. Tell me this, did you experience more fear with that than you did on any trade you've ever taken in your long career?
I don't know how to compare the two. You probably read that I said a thing saying that I ran away. You know, I escaped to a friend on the east coast of Florida. So I'm on the Gulf Coast still. So
right.
I drove about 3 hours to my friend's house and figured I'd be farther from the hurricane then. And it was still pretty hurricane-y there, but probably not like what it was here, you know?
Yeah. So
actually, my neighborhood did pretty well. When I came back, my neighbors told me the power was only off for 3 hours. By 3 hours after the hurricane left town, the power was back on.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing how they got it together there in Florida.
Yep.
So I'm just glad you're okay. I was concerned watching the news and hoping, you know, I was talking to Victor Zuberoff. I think I asked Larry on Skype if Norm was okay. So I'm so glad that you were protected from, you know, having loss of, you know, life or property.
Thank you. I had tiny damage to my house and, you know, you can't, you know, and I've never lived through anything like this before, and one of the problems is that all the people who might be able to help you are overwhelmed now, as you might guess. So, you know, I got some tree damage, and so try to get a tree guy here, probably be weeks or maybe months before anybody will show up, that kind of thing, you know?
Well, so you get a little Hanukkah bush for the season, right?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, so Aussie, interesting opening up with a currency for us here today.
I know. I'm going to initially start out talking about the Moon Dance. That's a great song.
I love it. Yeah.
Van Morrison's Moon Dance. I love that song.
So was this a special moon, this harvest moon we had a week ago?
I don't know about special, and that it was a harvest moon. I think, and my understanding is China basically shuts down for an entire week for the harvest moon, right?
Huh, I didn't know that.
One of their traditions.
They still hoard gold though during that downtime, don't they?
Don't know about that.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so you know, I've been on your show a few times now, and your reincarnation here, and
Yes.
I think you usually talk about the moon, and I just thought I'd really hammer home how important the moon is. I'm sure some of your folks think I'm crazy, but that's okay. Well,
no, you know, I interviewed another lunatic yesterday, and he had some signals off the harvest moon last week. So they're used to the audience is used to some esoteric thinking. So
okay, great. So let me show some charts here, so we're not holding anybody up on the back end, right? So you know, I don't end up talking too long, right? So anyway, so I thought I'd show some currencies, and I know most of your people are currency people, so I just thought I'd show why you might want to be looking at the moon, the full moon, new moon. Here's your dates, the last two, what do we call lunations? That's a new moon or a full moon. In September, you had September 20th 1:30 a.m. you had a new moon, and memorize these dates if you would. And October the 5th in the afternoon. These are all Eastern time, U.S. Eastern, and that's 2:40 p.m. for the full moon on the 5th. Let's go look at the charts. Here's the Aussie dollar. I'm doing futures, which I think might be upside down from your Forex.
No, it's the same.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Aussie dollar is making tops here in September. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you had a high on the new moon and a low on the full moon.
That's it. So they were off just a little bit here on the 6th, which was just after the full moon, right? You nailed it to the day on the 20th, right? You see that? Here's your euro. Not quite as crisp as the Aussie dollar, but it did that top there. And got you. There's your. I got the dates on these little boxes here. You know, there's the 6th, which is again one day after the full moon. Moving ahead, here's your British pound. Well, go ahead.
No, that's nice. Yeah, go ahead. No,
here's your British pound.
Basically, the dollar, that was on the NFP. So we had the full moon. It must have been around the NFP.
And what's MF? What is that?
Non-farm payroll, NFP.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to tell your folks they don't need to look at any of that. They should turn off the news, turn off all the stuff. Don't worry if Janet Yellen has a new hairdo or any of that stuff.
She hasn't had a new hairdo.
Well, I'm just making that, making a joke there to drive home the point. If you're reading all that stuff, you're just getting confused, and all you need to do is look at the simple chart patterns. Here's the pound rallied up into the new moon and made a top. What more do you need? Then it would decline into the full moon and made a low.
All right, so that was, the last few weeks. Have you noticed that being a repetitive? I know you've seen it be repetitive in corn. You told me corn really follows that.
The greens love the moon. But I thought I'd emphasize the currencies here today because your folks are, my understanding, mostly currency people, right?
Oh, it's kind of a repetitive pattern then, highs and lows, turning points anyway. Yeah. You don't know if it's going to be a high or low.
No, I don't know anything. It works all the time, and likewise, this doesn't work all the time, but it works a high percentage of the time. You know,
that's all you need.
That's all you need is all you need is love and the moon, right?
Yeah, I love you, man.
All right, so what's that? There you go. I just thought I'd quote that's the Beatles. That's the Beatles. You know, all you need is love and trade with the moon, right? That's it. Now, obviously, there are other things. So here's what's coming up. We have got a little bit of a cluster for the stock market coming on Monday. But in the bigger picture for all the markets, I have a big cluster of big planetary events occurring coming up on, Wednesday night. AC is after the close, so that's the 18th after the close. Okay, right. After your regular day session, time. Overnight, and then into the 19th, and look what I found there, Dale. The night of the 19th, we have a new moon. Okay, and then we have some things with the U.S.
Why is Libra the ruling sign for sugar and wheat? Because it balances it on the scale.
Because Libra is the sweetest sign in the zodiac, and if it's sweet, it's Libra. And because sweet rhymes with wheat, I found that works too.
Huh.
Okay, so guess what? Here's my individual. I have the currencies in general tend to dance to the moon, but I also I do the astrology for the different countries, currencies, and central banks. I was not able to find the one. The pound is along in it. We may have trouble. Might have a lot more outside. Anyway, so I was not able to find when the British pound began because it's a long and convoluted history, and going back 1,000 years or so. But I'm able to do the based on reorganization of the United Kingdom, the British Empire. I'm able to do a chart on the United Kingdom, which I find works pretty well for the pound. And guess what? Most of the month, the British pound, United Kingdom anyway, but sleeping. There's nothing going on until we get to the 19th, in the night of the 18th, the morning of the 19th, which lines up with the moon. So that's nice. You got big picture is the
and the pound's been going up this week, so maybe we'll get some type of
if the pound continues higher into around the 18th, 19th, then I'd be looking for a top.
Okay.
Then you have another change in trend point on the 23rd. So watch those 2 dates, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
David, there's a million places you could find online to give you the calendar. Even calendars have new and full moons.
Okay, that's true. And you could go and do your research, and if you like what you find, then you call Norm, right? Because you want to study some more. Maybe that Norm ain't so crazy after all, right? All right, here we go. Here's the S&P. This is kind of my, thing I do the most work on, because I kind of started out in the stock market. I don't know if Dale gave any background or not, but I started out in CBOE on 1975, right out of college. I was a market maker there for 12 years, and also traded at their sister floor at the Board of Trade, Chicago Board of Trade. All right, so anyway, as you can see, the S&P, here's a 10-minute bar chart. So we're covering about a month here, and so you can see that we had an extended rally, and now we're kind of lost that loving feeling, and we're kind of going sideways, chopping around here. Now I have a little cluster of some gain points and so forth for Monday for the over the weekend here for the stock market. So I was hoping, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's probably a good indication it's probably not going to happen. But my ideal preferred scenario would be if we had a little pullback yesterday, we could pull back again into the weekend, and then we could make a low, because my biggest window coming up is the night of the 18th, 19th, when we have a big Mercury event right there at number B, Mercury 0 south latitude. That's one of my top things. And you can see I have all caps on stocks and soybeans. And so when the major Mercury event and the moon line up, that's sometimes a big event.
We go up into that date. I believe you said major trend change on that date. So,
we had something.
The major trend has been up. So is it possible that we get some type of significant high in the S&Ps?
I'm going to give you an example. So in May of 2015, we had the new moon line up with a major Mercury cycle, and I went on an interview program. I think you were on sabbatical or something maybe then. And I said, this looks like it could be important, and it turned out to be the 18th, 19th, that's what it was, and that turned out to be the high of the year for the stock market.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm not saying that this is going to be the high of the year, but could be an important trading top there somewhere around the 18th or the 19th of the month. Okay.
I'll be paying attention.
There you go. Here's your beans in case you're inclined to trade commodities. Again, the beans, the greens back here. This was a full moon. This high of the year. That was I think the full moon was on a Sunday. That was the 9th, and I think it was off by about a day. And there's the 10th, and there's the 11th, and then it's the high of the year. Okay, that's pretty nice if you can catch the high of the year. And there's a nice little trading top there, that was off a little bit. Here's a lesson here. If the market is in a tight sideways range, don't try to trade these with these points, because we're looking for extremes. We're looking for the market pops up, pops down, has some kind of buying climax, selling climax. And if you get that, or an extended move like this kind of thing here on the stock market into one of these points, then you got a chance for a reversal, All right. So anyway, but this was off a day or two, so not perfect. And then we went down and we bottomed. And this is showed you that this is the grains. This was one of the stronger markets because it bottomed a day early on. On the 4th, still had a chance on the 5th to get in near the lows. And then you can see we've been moving higher. Most of the grains have been scraping bottom. The beans are doing a little better, Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go look at, now I'm going to look at a whole different technique now. Now we're going to throw the stars out the window here for a minute. And sorry for the noise in the background. I got somebody decided to mow their lawn next door. And so that if you hear some noise, that's what it is.
Can't hear it.
And so, I'm sorry?
We can't hear it.
And
So it's okay.
now I'm going to talk about fractals. I'm not going to go into the details of how I do this, but I'll just tell you generally that by looking at the price pattern of January each year, you can get some amazing forecasts for different markets. I do this for about 27 different markets, and it's very simple, and I could teach a 10-year-old to do this in 10 minutes. There's no formulas involved. It's all graphic, okay? The noise, this guy will pass by to hear that noise. There he goes.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. He'll be gone in a minute.
He needs to learn about fractals, and he could put his lawnmower away.
There you go. So anyway, you can see this is 2016. The blue bars were the forecasts I laid out in advance in February for the entire year. And then after the fact, I overlaid these black bars with the actual prices for the Aussie dollar. So I think that worked out pretty well. What do you think, Dale?
Yeah, nice.
Okay. So it's an amazingly simple method. Okay, there you go. See, published February the 14th, 2016, had these blue bars on the chart here in advance. Okay, told you that watch out for the major high right there, and that pretty much nailed the high of the year for the Aussie dollar. Here's your Japanese yen. Japanese yen has been working great several years in a row now. Last year, there you go. I was looking for a big top there, and that was the high of the year. See that? Then big down. You got the big down. Okay. Here's the, okay, now let's look into the future. Here's my Aussie dollar for 2017. Here's the blue bars. And you can see there's some positive, there's some value here, I think. Looking for kind of for a topping area here in September, and kind of some weakness into November, and then maybe back up in the end of the year. Okay. So I will, the people that contact me, I will teach them how to do this. It's very simple. Okay. Like I said, if you got a 5th grade education, you can do this. Okay.
Okay.
No fancy
I think a lot of people in here are familiar with fractals. I see a lot of fractal work on Twitter, and I've interviewed guys with fractals. So this is, so people probably have seen them work and would love to learn how to do it.
Okay. Well, I can teach you how to do that.
Instead of relying on other people's work to have a fractal.
Yep. All righty. Well, that went pretty quick because we're getting to the end here. You get all the free stuff, Dale. So if they will contact me, they can get my current letter and a class. I got about a class that runs about 5 to 6 hours. It's individual class, just me and that person on Skype,
one-on-one.
And
one-on-one,
go through my letter and teach them the different methodologies that I use. I do Astro. I do advanced Fibonacci/Lucas time cycles and mathematics. I teach all the mathematics of that, and they'll go from Fibonacci grade school to graduate school in about 15 minutes. And then I teach them some Gann principles, the basic Gann principles, and also the fractals, so and how to use my letter, and it's like a power tool because like here, let's go back and look at the Aussie dollar calendar. I have a whole calendar for about 30 markets where you see this sort of thing, and in a matter of seconds you can pick out on all these markets where the top days in the month are, and boom, you look at your United Kingdom thing, for example, and you know that the 19th and the 23rd are the top days of the month for that thing, the United Kingdom, British pound, whatever, right?
Okay.
I have that for about 30 markets, so you can do that in seconds. It would turn you into a supercomputer, Otherwise, if you did that from scratch, you'd be spending hours and days doing it, because that's what I do to get there.
This is your these are your contact numbers here. And
here's my contact numbers down here at the bottom. As we mentioned, I got about 50 years of experience, almost as much as Dale there. Dale and I were trading back during the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Remember the old days, Dale? We had the stone tablets there, and you had to be careful not to leave them lying around.
I dropped an order on my foot. Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
dinosaurs would come along and crush your charts, you know, right?
Yeah.
That's it was a problem back then. So anyway, yep, I used to trade by the campfire, you know, right, outside the cave there. All right, so here's my contact info. I'm in, as Dale mentioned, we're still here after the hurricane. That was for Hurricane Irma, if I get it right. I'm in Naples, Florida, and there's my phone. If you're in the U.S., you can call me at 239-594-3939. Here's my email, Winski, that's Nwinski at Embark, EMBARQ, like root beer, MAIL.com. Or you can call me on Skype.
Yeah, and you're offering the free newsletter trial and a free class?
Free class.
Yeah,
6-hour class. I'm going to go through, try to jam 50 years of experience into about 5 to 6 hours. Like you get like basically almost a college education in 5 to 6 hours. You know,
so anyone who has an interest in this type of forecasting and believes that there's order and harmony in the universe and want to be able to read something besides a candlestick, Norm's a guy you could certainly learn a lot from. And I encourage people to test the waters with Norm.
Thank you. All right, Dale, if anybody want to ask any questions or anything, I'll try to field the questions or whatever you like, or we'll go have a nice weekend or whatever.
All right. Well, you know, you taught me this, Norm. What's the definition of Mazel Tov, which to me meant good luck? What's it really mean?
Well, it's the literal translation is good stars.
Okay. See? So even the ancients were wishing people to have good stars and believe that they influence. Yeah.
As you might know, Dale, Tov is good, and Mazel is stars or constellations.
Isn't that something? I didn't know that till I knew you. To me, it was always just good luck. But Norm, I'm so glad you're okay, and that, you know, things are starting to come back to normal for you, and you're a gem. And I'm glad that you're still out there doing your good work and trying to help people and show them what it took you decades to learn.
Right, and one of the things that I try to do here is my forecasting, I've tried to be very specific, very precise, and give people a day. I even have intraday timing where we do this sort of thing, you know, intraday. You know, mostly for the primarily the stock market, but you can also do some trades with other markets. I just started a guy on the weekend. He took my class that past weekend, and he's just learning and started. Said, well, and then I said, okay, I'll talk to you in a couple of days. And I talked to him like on Tuesday, and he said, oh, I'm doing great. I have a goal of to make enough money to cover your everything you do, and almost there after 2 days. He said, give me another day or so, and by I think Thursday, he sent me a PayPal for the whole thing. So he learned that over the weekend.
Always, besides it being nice for your wallet, it's kind of good for your soul that
absolutely I'm helping
you've shown someone the way.
Absolutely, and he's doing great. He's probably averaging, I don't know, $400 or $500 a day, and it's a living, you know. Right?
Yeah, that's a nice living. So thank you, buddy.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Looking forward to helping some folks, and everybody have a great weekend. And call me right away so you can. Usually I have a little limited number of people I can do because it's individual class, and so call me right away so you can get in line for the next round, you know, next cycle.
Okay, buddy.
All right,
Norm, and everyone thank Norm Winski.
Do any of you people want to ask questions? Do you do that here? Ask.
Good. Any questions for Norm with who's still here? Interesting. Got to run. Thanks, guy. Trading using lunar models, cosmonauts on Wall Street. These lunar ticks are awesome, and it's amazing that you can actually trade using lunar. So you got some great responses here, Norm.
Okay,
and,
great.
Do you look at gold?
Yes, I do. But gold was kind of sleeping on my astro analysis this month. It did have a turn due for the 10th, and if you go look at your chart there, I think gold chart.
Yeah, it turned with the dollar. Yeah.
We did make a turn.
Friday.
We did make a turn on Tuesday the 10th.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
If we
Have
take
a
that
great
out,
weekend.
Yep.
Have a great weekend, Norm.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You too, Face. Everyone have a great weekend. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Enjoy your weekend, do your work, look at your weeklies, and we'll see you on Monday.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
You too, Norm.
Bye.
Adios.